Hello, welcome. Hope you're having a great day so far. Today we're going to be looking at Judges chapter 11, and this chapter is kind of an unusual chapter. So, in today's chapter, we meet a character named Jeff Jephthah. I think that's how you say that. It's a different name. But Jephthah becomes Israel's judge, and he was a great warrior, but there was something that was kind of unique about him. It tells us in the first verse that he was the son of Gilead, but his mother was actually a prostitute. It says Gilead's wife also had several sons, and when these half brothers grew up, they chased Jephthah off the land. You will not get any of our father's inheritance, they said, for you are the son of a prostitute. So Jephthah fled his brothers and lived in the land of Tob. Soon he had a band of worthless rebels following him. So later, God is essentially encouraging him to lead the Israelites to fight against the Ammonites. Remember, they've been fighting against them, and the Israelites are kind of stuck in this pattern of doing what God tells them and then straying and worshiping other gods. And then they beg God to help them again. He sends help, and then they begin to sin again. So it's just this endless cycle. So, in this chapter, I want to read a footnote that deals with verses 12 through 18. It says, Jephthah sent messengers to the Ammonite king because he wanted to know why the Israelites in the land of Gilead were being attacked. The king replied that Israel had stolen this land and he wanted it back. Then Jephthah sent another message to the king. In it, he gave 3 arguments against the king's claim. So first, he says, Gilead was never the king's land in the first place because Israel had taken it from the Amorites, not the Ammonites. All right, number 2, Israel should possess land given by Israel's God, and the Ammon should possess land given by Ammon's God. And third, no one had contested Israel's ownership of the land since its conquest 300 years earlier. To Jephthah's credit, he tried to solve the problem without bloodshed, but the king of Ammon ignored his message and prepared his troops for battle. So he begins to get worried or concerned about being able to win this battle against the Ammonites. So he kind of makes a vow to God. And this is what his vow says. He says, At that time, the Spirit of the Lord came upon Jephthah, and he went throughout the land of Gilead and Manasseh, including Mizpah and Gilead, and from there he led an army against the Ammonites. So here's his vow. And Jephthah made a vow to the Lord. He said, if you give me victory over the Ammonites, I will give to the Lord whatever comes out of my house to meet me when I return in triumph. I will sacrifice it as a burnt offering. So this is the deal he made. And when he makes this deal, he of course is thinking of whatever animal comes out. Well, you guys, it gets really bad. When he returns, the first thing that comes out is his daughter. So he is stuck. He made this vow with God, and his daughter is the first thing that comes out. And he's just beside himself. He doesn't know what to do. So according to my footnote, I guess there's some debate about whether or not he actually sacrifices his daughter. It says, Jephthah's rash vow brought him unspeakable grief. In the heat of emotion or personal turmoil, it's easy to make foolish promises to God. These promises may sound very spiritual when we make them, but they may produce only guilt and frustration when we are forced to fulfill them. Making spiritual bargains only brings disappointment. God does not want promises for the future, but obedience for today. So I encourage you need to read this chapter today. Read through the ending and see what happens. I'm not going to tell you what it says happens, but you need to read it to find out. So something to think about when we make decisions in the heat of the moment or make a vow. Is that really wise? So thank you guys for watching today. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you next time.